All right, so it's the very end of May, pretty much a week before the 80th anniversary of D-Day now, and we're back in Hangar 6 at Coventry, checking in with what's happening with Night Fright, what's the latest. It's been a pretty significant week. I think it's fair to say. So we've deliberately been quite quiet in terms of what we've been putting out in terms of updates on the website and on social media, for a couple of reasons, really. I mean, a lot of the work that's been going on is detailed, so it's not particularly visual, not particularly impactful. And we wanted to try and do a grand reveal of some of the stuff that's been going on, didn't we, really? So, yeah, I mean, probably going back to early December, Night Fright went into the paint tent here, the paint tent that Ben and the team built, primarily for the purpose of obviously applying the paint scheme and the detailed marking to the aircraft. But, that doesn't mean to say that, lots of other work and detail hasn't been going on. So, yeah, it's been a busy few months, hasn't it?
Yeah, really. Obviously, it's a head scratcher, really, of how do you get to paint a C-47, a large aircraft, inside a hangar and not have overspray of paint on every other aircraft that's in the hangar. So ingenuity with Ben and his team to create this kind of paint booth, which has been a fantastic kind of effort and a great environment for the application of paint. The added benefit is over the winter months, this was heated as well and lit, so it was a great environment for everybody else to work on the aircraft at the same time.
So no whinging from the engineers then?
For a change. And lots of things happened whilst in the paint booth, not just paint.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people might think that it's it's a relatively straightforward task to paint a C-47. At the end of the day, it's green and grey, isn't it, with a few markings? But that's not the case at all, is it? I mean, the level of detail that goes into, marking out the invasion stripes, the serial number, the squadron codes. That's not a 5-minute job, is it?
No, really. And preparation is the key, and that's where they've been excellent, as always, in doing that preparation, study, research. Led by Ben, led by Tom, with Tim at the helm of actually applying the paint. Yeah, I think they've done a great job, which I'm sure we'll let other people see soon enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think we certainly think that she looks absolutely fantastic, and we'll see what everyone else thinks. But we're all about the detail, aren't we? And one of the first things that people are going to see, is the paint scheme, the markings, and the nose art. So yeah, a hugely significant step, and yeah, we can't wait to see what everyone else thinks. So the first question you're probably thinking is, why are we talking about doing a reveal and we're not in the paint tent anymore? Well, this is why. As you can see, Night Fright has now been fully painted. So we've got the top coat on, we've got the olive drab and the grey, and of course the invasion stripes, the squadron codes, the markings. And we think that she looks absolutely fantastic. So you can probably see behind us that the wings have been painted as well. The invasion stripes are on the wings, and today is actually Wings Day, as we're calling it in the hangar. So today is the day that the wings are reattached to Night Fright for the first time in a long time. So super exciting. It's been a busy week, hasn't it?
Yeah, really busy. From beginning of the week, the squadron code S6 was unveiled. Tim had been painting them over the end of last week, so the masking was removed on Monday to reveal the S6. I was here Monday morning to see that. No, sorry, it was Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning,
because it was bank holiday. So Tuesday morning, yeah, the S6 was revealed, and I just couldn't stop smiling. It looked perfect from all those measurements that I kind of started kind of 5 years ago, to then kind of Ben and Tim kind of applying it as a one-to-one scale stencil on the aircraft. Great job, absolutely great job. And what can you say? Yeah, exactly. So serial code, all the colours, they've been matched to kind of original kind of standards. It's 1944 again.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's quite a a small thing in some ways, isn't it? But visually and emotionally, it's a huge change. And as you say, everyone's done an amazing job. Led by Tim, Ben, and Tom, and yourself, obviously. But the team have just been fantastic. But I think we should say a special shout out to Tim, who's been leading that process, and also to Indestructible Paints, who have very generously supplied all of the products for us. And it's a fantastic finish. So huge thanks to those guys for their support as part of the project. But yeah, a really, really significant moment, as you say. I think that S6 particularly transforms it. Perhaps there's only one thing more significant than that, and that's the nose up. But maybe we'll come back to that later.
Yeah, well, one day soon. Yeah, it's been huge. This week has been great. So I suppose from that moment of seeing the squadron code being kind of revealed, eventually the decision was made that we had to get Night Fright out of the paint booth because we can't get the wings fitted inside that confined space. So Thursday this week, we opened the hangar doors, moved some aircraft around, and got enough space to get Night Fright outside into the open air for the first time for a very long time, and she looked good in sunlight. Luckily we avoided the showers that was happening around the area. But she's repositioned, ready to go for the wings fitment. Both wings are now ready to go on either side of the fuselage, and that's the process that's going to happen today, is to get the two wings fitted.
Cool. There is one bit of sort of speculation or sort of rumour that we wanted to put to bed. Obviously you can see with what's going on behind us that unfortunately we're not quite going to be ready to join in the celebrations for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Unfortunately, time was just against us a little bit. There's just too much to do in such a short space of time. So, we don't want to make any compromises or take any shortcuts. It's everything we've done has been to the highest possible standard. So we don't want to move away from that. So unfortunately, we're not going to be taking part in those events. But that doesn't mean that we're not thinking about the 80th anniversary of D-Day. What people went through and how we can best commemorate that. So there is a couple of things we've done, and we wanted to share those with you. So yeah, without further ado.
Well, thanks. So one thing we wanted to do was kind of honour what happened 80 years ago at D-Day, and especially for Night Fright and for the men who flew and were carried on board, and to kind of produce a commemorative patch to kind of honour that recognition of the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and we'd like to reveal today. This is our 80th anniversary patch for Night Fright to commemorate the 80th anniversary. So I got in contact with the guys from Fox One Studios, Si and Wayne, who produce patches for lots of different squadrons around the world at the moment. I've kind of pitched an idea to them that we wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to give a specification to them of a design that shows Night Fright flying 80 years ago, but also somehow to show Night Fright flying today as well in modern times. Eventually we all agreed that this is what the patch was to be, and thanks to those guys at Fox One, they managed to produce our first PVC patch instead of an embroidered patch. This allows more detail to the patch and to the design, so but we're pretty pleased with it, and it shows obviously the figure 80, and obviously the daylight scenes is obviously modern times, whilst obviously the background is obviously the darkness of the nights when Night Fright flew over Normandy.
So these patches will be available soon. They're probably not going to be available initially on the website or the online store. They're going to be sold at Night Fright's sort of first appearance and subsequent air shows. So yeah, watch this space, and we'll make some announcements in due course. There's obviously lots of big milestones throughout the project. You could name a few. The fuselage and centre section being reunited, engines going on, props. We talked a little bit about the painting, and obviously the S6 going on, and all of the markings, which to me is the biggest visual change. But perhaps one of the most exciting and significant moments is the application of the nose art.
Well, absolutely. That brings that unique identity to Night Fright, really, compared to other C-47s. That's been a long day coming, and I think we're pretty much happy to reveal that she was applied this week.
It looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, Tim's done an amazing job with that. Unfortunately, they managed to convince me to put the first brushstroke on there, which I think was a mistake on their part. But Tim obviously has been planning and thinking about this for a while, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Very emotional, I think. I mean, it really, that's Night Fright taking on her identity, and the first time obviously that we've seen the nose art and the S6 together. And I've certainly thought about it plenty of times and seen it on drawings and illustrations, and it looks everything that I thought it would. It's just, I don't know how to describe it really. It's amazing. I don't know what you think.
I agree. Obviously, being here yesterday all day, the day after the nose art was completed, and I just caught myself every time I was walking past Night Fright, I would stop, look up, smile. Other emotions, I think, was coming out, and especially when we kind of got outside in the sunshine as well. I think everybody from the team here stops, looks, and I've caught them a number of times. Just they're stopping, staring, and I think it means a lot for all of us that's been working on this project for so long. And
I think it's huge, isn't it? Yeah, I can sense some emotion within the team. Certainly, even Ben was quite emotional about it at a point, I think. So yeah, it's and not just that. It's the end is in sight, isn't it? And I think the team can see that. We really are on the on the final road. So yeah, hugely momentous.
Yeah.
So obviously it's been a pretty special week. Potentially the most significant week in the project thus far. That's not to say that there haven't been a few other significant moments, because there have. But progress has obviously been great this week, but there's still a lot to do. So the team is still going to be working incredibly hard. They're certainly not going to be taking their foot off the gas. And at some point, Night Fright will be able. And I don't think we're going to get into specifics as to when we're going to be running engines or flying, or what events we are or aren't going to be attending. Obviously we are signed up for a few events, but I think we'll make some announcements about that in due course.
Yeah, exactly. Big milestones ahead. Once the wings are attached there today, then there's a few other items that need to get attached at some point. Then we'll have to go and think about running those engines very soon.
Yeah, it's not going to be long now, and obviously next week is the 80th anniversary of D-Day itself, and just because we're not taking part doesn't mean that we're not going to be thinking about that as the Night Fright team. And yeah, I would say watch out for some more updates, photos and new snippets next week.